Here's our summary video for week 9 on our wellness journey for 2017. Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Minke. This is Minke Wellness. And here this week we cross over between the February and March, so it's blood and lymph for the first couple days, and then we start moving into digestion and digestion and absorption of our food. Okay, so the first day on Monday, what we did was we tried to combine some of the skills that we've learned from the last 2 months and into a little 10-minute exercise. I'm not going to go through it with you because it's 10 minutes and I don't have 10 minutes to cover it. So go watch it, but it involves doing the nudge, pushing the lymph, using the breathing to push the lymph, doing some massage, getting the face massage, all of this to help with moving the lymph and circulation so that we get a better, a little summary, 10-minute exercise that we can do, something we could do throughout the day, or periodically in the day. And mostly still seated. You didn't have to stand, or you could do it standing. The last day that we did for February was to really focus on the blood as the wholeness of our life experience. Everything we experience in the body ends up in the bloodstream, and so we really worked with breathing into the blood, renewing that connection to the blood that we've worked on all month, and making that connection, but recognizing that the blood does represent our entire wellness strategy. We avoid the toxins, stop poisoning ourselves, flood the body with nutrients, and manage our stress. And all three of those things end up in the bloodstream. In all those categories are centered in the blood. If we put toxins on our skin, they end up in our bloodstream. If we eat toxins, if we eat junk, it ends up in our blood. So we've got to stop poisoning ourselves. If we eat good food and those nutrients, if we have oxygen and water, all those are nutrients. We've got to get those in the bloodstream and flooding the body and get those out to the tissues. And then our stress ends up in our bloodstream. And so again, so this was a little focus on doing the breath and calling forth the goodness and celebrating the goodness, the good things that are in the bloodstream, all the good things we've been working for, to celebrate those and call forth those and increase that awareness so what we focus on grows. So we focus on the good things and the blood cells and all the good things in there, and then so bring that in, really vitalize, feel the glow, feel the stimulation in the blood, and feel where the blood is, okay? And recognize that some time of day, it's not always about energy. Sometimes we're in the calming mode, or we're quieter, or if we're grieving, we have a grieving. And all those are appropriate, but I can celebrate the moment that's in the bloodstream. And then there's also the junk that I don't want to carry over, and I don't want to focus on the stress. So I'm going to exhale and let the stress go. Okay, and so that was the exercise for Tuesday. It was our final lesson for the blood and lymph, mainly focusing again on that day on the blood and the breathing, connecting to that. Then we switch gears, entering into March, and we start talking about the digestive system, okay? And we're going to be doing this for the whole month here of March. And our first lesson was talking about the most important thing we can do for our digestion to start our day, and that is our morning water, because that washes the tube clean. We describe the digestive system as a tube from mouth to anus. And that tube, just like we shower the outside of the skin, we need to shower the inside of the skin. In this case, it's still skin, but that tube, anything that's inside the tube is still outside the body, and we want to wash that out every single day, and that's that morning water. So it helps to wash out, and of course we think of washing as cleansing, but we also have this idea of spiritual cleansing and letting go of yesterday's grunge, and so starting the day clean and fresh. And so we can use this morning water as an opportunity for a spiritual cleanse as well as a physical cleanse, and then it helps with the hydration. So not only are we washing the tube, but we're getting that water into the system for hydration. So before, the first 2 months, we've been talking about morning water pretty much simply as a way to hydrate, get water in. And now I'm going to add to that, it's not just about water in, but it's also about this washing off, the cleansing of the tube. So we could do a breath with our water. Obviously not at the same time because we won't want to inhale our water, but drink our water and imagine that water washing down the tube, washing out the grunge, cleaning it off, having nice sparkle. We could do the scrubby bubbles. down the tube with our morning water, and sometimes when you start getting good at this, it'll really stimulate the peristaltic wave as you bring that water in and you imagine that water washing down the tube, and it will help you to move the bowels. Okay, but we'll worry about that next month. Okay, so that's the morning water washing the tube. The next thing what we did is we started about where digestion starts. The digestion starts in the mouth, and we talked about how that starts to absorb sugar, where our sense of taste is all here in the mouth. We have to chew our food. That starts the breaking down, chewing down the food. I didn't mention, but I should have mentioned during that video, that stimulation of the molars, pressure on the molars actually stimulates digestion. So not only do we have a physical help of breaking down the food, we have an enzymatic help of starting to break down the sugar, but we also prepare the stomach with the pressure on the molars stimulates production of stomach juices, okay? But the sense of taste is critical, and this taste and smell system that we have with that initial in a relationship with our food, as soon as we bring that food into our mouth or close to the mouth, we have that sense of smell. That's why it's so important to make sure that we've gotten rid of our fragrances, our synthetic fragrances and things like that are junking up the whole process here, because that's how we pay attention. So have you noticed that there's so many diets out there, and there's everyone that claims that their diet is best, and there's so much confusion. And the reason I think about that there's so much confusion around diet is because, one, food is compared to water and air and love. Food is a relatively low grade healing tool. In other words, it is a healing tool. We can heal ourselves with food, but compared to these other things, it's not as powerful. So there's a lot of range of allowing yourself to eat whatever you want to, as long as it's good quality, and then from there you pick and choose what your physiology needs. And so one physiology might be different than another. So one guy develops a diet and says, man, this is it, this is the perfect diet. I got news for him. It's not the perfect diet for everyone, okay? Now, while you can come up with general understandings of how you would avoid this or avoid that, and that's why I say stop the poison, but the rest of it becomes something you have to know yourself. So this becomes this awareness of your own taste and smell system. You have to have a clean system up here. So that's where we're spending this time breathing in, scrubbing bubbles into the mouth and the taste system, really paying attention to the tongue, getting in touch with our taste system. Because the more accurate we taste, the better off we'll be for our food choices, and we'll get much more clean signals about whether we want to eat this or not. Most of the food has these, especially industrial food production, is high salt, high fat, high sugar, so it hides the fact that the food underneath is either empty of nutrients or rancid. And that is, we will start to become more in tune with that, and it makes choosing better foods so much easier. You eat a good quality food and you go, oh, I feel that just feels good. Whereas you eat a bad quality food and you go, especially if you have to chew that, 20 times. So again, we're making that connection between that. Digestion starts in the mouth. We start to chew, we start to taste, and we get more in touch with that whole process. Okay, now, and the last day of our week, we talked about what can we do to help soothe this tube. A lot of people are having a very irritated tube. This esophagus is very irritated, the mouth and esophagus. So we decided, let's start with some tools. And what an amazing set of tools we have just in the premium starter kit from Young Living, that we have vitality oils that we can bring into this for a topical application on the tube. Now again, I know it sounds weird, but I'm talking about soothing the tube, but the topical application of these oils against the actual surface. Now the surface of the tube is still outside the body, so I still consider this a topical application. So we talk about a swish and swallow, where we put the essential oils in water, swish it and swallow. Now, which oils? Of course, we could choose any oils that you wanted to. I'm referring to the Vitality essential oils that Young Living has, and they're probably already in your premium starter kit. We have Digestion that we could use as a blend, or we could use a combination of peppermint, frankincense, and lavender. Now, in your kit, lavender might not have come as a vitality oil, but they do sell lavender as a vitality oil. So lavender, peppermint, and frankincense, and 1 drop of each of those in water. It does taste very strong. A swish and swallow, very, very soothing for the tube. So if you're one of those people has trouble with a very irritated tube, you might try something like that. Could be a very powerful tool for you to get that soothing. Now, how often could you do that? Would there be any concern about toxicity if you did that 5 or 6 or 8 times a day? No, that would not be any concern from me, knowing the toxicity, level of toxicity or lack thereof, of non-toxic, of these particular essential oils. Now, there might be some oils that you wouldn't want to take more than 10 drops in a day, but these are not the issue here. So frankincense, peppermint, and lavender oil, vitality, and they're probably already in your premium starter kit. Okay, so that was our week. And like I said, we've started into this idea of the digestive tube. I still want you to understand that this is a tube, and if we think of it that way, it gets us a little bit, so from that central tube, everything kind of hangs off of there, and we'll start to get into understanding the two major accessory organs to this tube, which is the liver, hangs off of the tube on the right, and the pancreas more on the left. Actually, it's kind of a little bit centered. But anyway, the liver and pancreas are two specialized organs that hang off of the tube, so they're accessory organs to the tube. The stomach itself is part of the tube. It is the tube. So the stomach is a very unique part of the tube, so we'll be spending some time on the stomach and learning, how the stomach works a little bit. We're not going to go heavy into anatomy physiology, but that's kind of where we're headed with this, is to get to know this tube and then the couple accessory organs that come off of that. And then we'll continue. We only get to the small intestine for this month, and then next month we'll get into the bowel and then the elimination system. So there's your overview for the week and the month. Highly recommend you go back and watch some of these videos, like the first video where I go through that 10-minute sequence, because I can't do that here. But that would be a one that you can go and refresh on some of the tools and techniques we've gained, and we put it all together into a little exercise there. So, all right, there you have it. We've got our little 10-minute sequence, our breathing in the goodness. That's a great little video for looking at the stress part of our wellness program. Is a lot of good information and tips and discussion in there about how to manage the stress. Our number one habit, morning water, again, getting renewed in that. Watch out. Oh, I meant to mention, watch out for the morning water. Don't add any lemon oil or any flavor to your morning water. The very first thing that you drink should be completely clean water, no flavor, because the flavor engages the digestive system. Then we talked about the digestion starting in the mouth, getting in touch with the taste system, and then here's a little simple way that we can help soothe the tube with some essential oils in a swish-and-swallow technique, and we went through that. Okay, there's your summary for the week. Happy wellness. We'll start next week and full on into digestion, and I hope you join me for that, and happy wellness.